Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Joe Truemark and I am the Halo Enthusiast. Before we begin, I just want to say a massive thank you for watching this video. It means so much, and if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like, as it would mean so much to me personally. If you are new to my channel, I recommend going back to my welcome video and watching that, as it will let you know where you are on my schedule. But if not, let's press on to the good stuff. First off, I want to say that the ideas I present are by no means beating up on current or old Halo. These are my personal feelings and thoughts, where I've thought about how something could have been cooler, or what if scenario that could have enhanced the games. I try to remember that we have to be respectful to each other, because something I dislike could be something that another gamer absolutely loves. I am grateful for the 343 team to continue current Halo, and they clearly have a very passionate and talented team, and I think for the most part they do an awesome job. Will Halo have a BR mode? Okay, so I feel this is a pretty important question, which is probably being asked by lots of Halo gamers right now. Will Halo have a BR mode at some point? Well, some players will no doubt be against it, and some will be all for it. Looking online with social media and online forums, there are furious battles expressing opinions on both sides of the argument. You have the Halo purists that will argue that Halo gameplay is meant for arena-style shooters, and that Halo shouldn't be copying trends, but setting them, and that we saw enough change in Halo 5, let alone adapting to a new game mode that would seem completely out of place. But on the other hand, there are lots of people who actually think the mechanics of Halo naturally lend itself to a BR mode and would be fun as hell. Some probably like playing BRs in other games, but are excited to have the modes they love in one complete package. It certainly is a dividing argument. So what's my opinion? Well, I hate BR modes. I can't stand them. I've tried having a go at Fortnite when it became all the rage, but I just couldn't get on with it. It wasn't just the cartoony style of art that got to me, but I would just get so bored playing the game. I'm not one of these people that thinks that it shouldn't exist, or that if you play it you're offending my gaming sensibilities, just that I don't consider it as something that I enjoy. When people began speculating on if Halo would have a BR mode, I would class myself with the Halo purists, and I was dead against it. I remember seeing people using the quote of Grimm in a livestream about 343 Industries only being interested in one BR, as the golden arrow that would kill all hopes and dreams of a BR mode. I commented on it myself with a post on Twitter copying in Grimm, smug with myself that we would never see a BR mode in Halo and that everyone else can go do one. Well, the response I got back was not a confirmation of no BR mode in the future of Halo, but an actually frustrated Grimm that his quote on the livestream was taken completely out of context and blown up to mean no BR mode. He was saying that it is not one way or the other. And I have a little extract here, so I'm just going to read a little bit of what it says. So on Twitter, I said, "We can argue it till we're blue in the face. Regardless, I am glad that Grim Brother 1 is taking a hard stance on the matter, for it not to be included, and is echoing what I trust the 343 team feel is the best way for Halo to go in. It's definitely not what I would play Halo for." And then Grimm replied and said, "I wouldn't call it a hard stance in the slightest. To be clear, laugh out loud. My initial statement was that went crazy was largely a humorous statement. That's not saying it's one way or the other, but people have read way too far into a random stream answer. Laugh out loud." So this is some very interesting information. And to me, this speaks volumes. So I stopped for a moment to think. I can actually see Halo having a BR mode now. It makes a lot of sense, and I think, without overthinking it, that this in a way could confirm that it's a possibility for it to be featured in a future Halo game. Armed with this new enlightenment from the horse's mouth, so to speak, I was trying to get used to the idea of a BR mode in Halo. Then Apex Legends rolled around. It ignited the internet like a wildfire storm, surpassing 25 million players in the first week after its launch. It became an unstoppable force and has been lauded, praised and glorified of what a modern video game can achieve in terms of popularity and scope, and converting non-BR players into champions of this ever-growing game mode and genre. I downloaded it fresh with the hype and hoping to play it with a few people I knew. Everyone giving it such high praise, I was eager to learn and try something new. Try something that could prepare me for what a Halo BR mode could possibly be. And, well, I hated it. It played much better than Fortnite, and although I had never played much PUBG, I can imagine it being more fun than that. But I reason this is because it is more similar, at least in FPS terms, of its mechanics to Halo. But the biggest problem I have with it is that I'm just not having very much fun. I'm not going to lie. If Halo is going to have a BR mode similar to anything I've seen so far, I think I'm going to struggle in the new gaming world when Infinite rolls around. So I will try and explain why I dislike the gameplay so much. So I get the concept, dive in, grab some loot, try to survive, battle to the end and try to win. On paper this sounds awesome, but the more I play the more I felt like I was wasting my time. It takes a while to get into a lobby, although probably not as long as Halo 5 these days, but when you jump down it's a mad scramble for loot. Most of the time I seem to be picking up Mozambiques, but if you get downed, you then have to wait for a while for your teammates to revive you or for you to get back out and find another game, which can take time and becomes frustrating if you find yourself being paired with people who just want to do their own thing most of the time. One of the aspects that I disliked about Apex was that you have to play as a team of 3. Not that I'm against teamwork, but most of the time I'm a solo queue player. The ping system is an excellent mechanic, but I always found that the team I was playing with would ignore any information I pinged, and it seemed like opposing teams were working together as a well-knit unit. I found there were long pauses between firefights, gathering loot and trying to get the best gear possible, only to choke with certain weapons because of their unfamiliarity to me, or losing out because I didn't have the necessary defensive armor, health packs, etc. Sometimes it feels like the loot is so random that it feels like a complete lottery in terms of whether I get a game-winning combination. I never know if I'm getting any better, and I found it hard to estimate what your opponents would have or what power they would be at, which is critical to know when to go out offensively or to sit back and play the defense. In Arena Halo, the player has a certain degree of control, as a gamer will always know how many shots it will take to kill an opponent from certain weapons in the sandbox, as the damage dealt is universal, as are the strength of the shields. It is these constants and predictability is what I enjoy to master these types of game modes, which is predominantly in Halo. In Apex, the shield types and strengths seem to vary from different grades, and so when engaging in combat you have very little time to realise if you just made the wrong move against a highly shielded player. I found that a large part of the game was waiting around for most of the time for pockets of skirmishes to happen, then muscle in and take out players in mid-fight, grab better loot and carry on. But when we bested an enemy squad, it didn't feel to me any more exhilarating than getting into constant gunfights in Halo Arena modes. And in Apex you had a lot of time waiting for this fun to happen. Admittedly, when you get to the end game on Apex, the final battle can feel pretty tense and enjoyable, but you have to wait for a long time for that to happen, and you may not even get to the end for that standoff all while you play. On the flip side, I have had many games on Halo when the opposition team was neck and neck with our score, maybe for the whole game, which to me generates the same feeling on the final stages of Apex, but more intense and, at least to me, more enjoyable. Now on to discussing loot. I actually really like the user interface in Apex Legends, and I like the weapons and loot. I think the mechanics are great, and I think it all works seamlessly well, but most of the time, whenever I got some cool loot, I found that I never really got the opportunity to use much of it. The gameplay to me was sitting around for the most of the match only to get wiped and never really experiment or enjoy using all the different things in the game. It's frustrating because I know that while I'm waiting around for something to go down, I could be racking up multi-kills in Halo Firefight or Warzone in Halo 5 and be having an absolute blast. What I like about Warzone is that I get to rank up, unlock gear and wreck Admittedly, maybe not the best way with rec packs, but I get to choose what weapons and vehicles I get to use, which gives me, as the player, control. Which I love because most of the time I would consider myself to have bad luck. When I have control, I can minimise the bad luck I know that I have, and internet, and corner the game with skill and judgment. When I play Apex or other Battle Royale modes, it feels like every time I play, I'm spinning a lottery wheel, and while some may find that fun and exciting, I find it to be frustrating, never knowing if I'm actually improving or if Lady Luck blessed me that match. Bearing all this in mind, what I enjoy about Halo games before Halo 5 is that in arena modes you could generally tell how better you were getting. Sometimes I would go through periods of getting pasted all the time, but I still enjoyed myself because I knew what I had to do to be better, and I know that Halo is largely a game of skill rather than luck. Obviously it's complete luck on who you would play against and the people you are matched with, but when you learn the game it's less about your battle with the game itself and more about a battle between players. With Apex or BR modes, the battle is with the game itself, which changes from game to game as the loot is randomised. I liken this to a game of gambling. I don't doubt that there is skill involved in these BR games, but it seems to me that you need that combination which seems to be weighted heavily more to luck to do well. Perhaps I'm just ignorant, underprepared, and not as experienced, or maybe I will just never be very good at BR modes, but I find that my motivation to be good at a BR mode is not high either. I don't believe that even if I was good at it, that I would find it rewarding. Playing these modes feels like a chore rather than fun. It could just be my small rant here defining how poor I am at these modes, but if you're like me and think the BR genre of game modes are not your thing, and you're a player of Halo like me that likes that arena style game modes and firefight based blasting, what is a player to do? It is undeniable that BR is changing the gaming landscape and could define whether a game does well or even succeeds in the future. I think it would be foolish to think that 343 is not considering adding a BR mode to Halo, but instead trying to block its inclusion. Maybe we should be asking, what do we want a Halo BR mode to look like? So I'm going to take a stab at it. I'm going to say this is what I want in a Halo BR mode, and I want to know if you agree with me or hate it. If done right, I believe this could be a big opportunity to add Halo's mark on this genre and mode, and maybe bring in never seen gameplay in massive and epic battles that we will remember for years to come. First of all, I want to start with a few assumptions. I will assume that there will be a progression system with experience and rankings, as well as the current rec system we have with Halo 5. I understand that in Infinite things will most likely switch up, but if we take what we already know, we can then tweak the system to suggest how we would want things to be. So, I like the idea that players drop into a map. Many people have said that the ODST drop pods would be perfect for this game mode, as it fits in with the lore and narrative of Halo. This is great, and if this happens, I expect to drop in with some kind of loadout weapon. One thing I hate about Apex is starting without a weapon. In a Halo BR mode, I want to start with an AR or Magnum as standard. This would also fit with the idea of an ODST drop. Okay, so now for the big shake-up idea. I suggest to make the whole mode co-op. Co-op? A Battle Royale co-op? Yeah, so think about it. You could have, say, maybe 50 players drop into a map, but scattered as the game decides. I would suggest that each area of the map has loot that doesn't change from map start to map start. The only thing that changes is where players drop in from. That way you can learn the map and get to know where stuff is and where the best places to go are. When you drop, you have no idea where other players are, but your main mission at this stage is to link up with other ODSTs and Spartans and build a bigger fire team. The main fight is against pockets of Prometheans or Covenant, which are scattered throughout the map while you try to link up with other players. Finding vehicles or transports like Pelicans would be a great way to traverse the map and gather more players together. So what is the main goal? The main goal is to survive. The ring that closes in other BR modes could simply be a horde of Flood or hordes of Covenant and Prometheans that will constantly fill up the map to force players to move further to a designated point on that map. players are on a timer to get to a selected base, and when they reach that base, that's when the real fun begins. Whoever survives and is left will then have to fortify the base or structure that the game designates, perhaps with access to rec stations or the loot that they have acquired around the map, and to survive a horde-style assault on that position, in waves, just like Firefight. That way it can be an all-out balls-to-the-walls battle, with the best gear and vehicles seen in Halo against the largest battles and assaults the game has ever seen. If you get fragged out, you're out, and we'll have to look for another game. The skill is getting enough players to the end round to fight off the horde of enemies. If you win, you receive a massive rec payout. If you lose and everyone gets wiped, you get a lesser payout, but maybe more experience. Perhaps there could be certain bounties or daily challenges that could give currency payouts to spice up the action. So, with Apex Legends, the model here is to make money via skins and make it a largely free-to-play game. My suggestion to shake things up for my ODST BR mode is that to make this mode free. Free? Yeah, but with a catch. Anyone that has it free will play as an ODST on drop, but if you buy the full game you drop as a Spartan, with access to Rex in the BR final battle mode with other mods and powers. This I think would be great because it would allow players to experience it for free and keep the population high. I would suggest that they can earn rec points and loot, and also loot, so that they can decide to pay for the full game. They can unlock all the gear they earn while they're playing for free. This would increase the player base and add an interesting twist. I would suggest that the gunplay needs to be ultra fun, as Halo has always been, to keep appeal of these players who enjoy it for free, as it can't be too frustrating. I like the idea of playing as different characters and categories of soldiers. It would be cool maybe to have the option to play as elite or maybe even brutes in this mode as well, and as it could be mainly co-op based, this could avoid PvP balancing issues. Although perhaps in this mode we could see a PvP version where players are placed on the AI side, similar to how Invasion or Firefight was handled in Halo Reach. I really hope something like this could work, because I really dislike my itchy trigger finger not getting its fix. So that is my main idea of a BR mode, and I would love to see it in Halo. Maybe it has already been suggested, but this is just my take on it. Now, my only question is, what do you guys think? Do you think it could work? What would you add and what would you change? Please feel free to comment down below, and I look forward to seeing your suggestions. So, as always, I'll see you in the next video. But for now, take it easy, be good to each other, and play Halo. This is the Halo Enthusiast, signing off and wishing you well in all things Halo.